for a few people to get here first. Tonight we have a big topic that I'll explain when you guys get here. But anyway, let's just go on ahead, get our cup filled up, and get ready for the show. All right, guys? Oh, by the way, I'm sorry I'm not wearing my tunic. I literally just finished working, like just about 15 minutes ago. So I haven't even had time to take a shower, to be honest, because my niece was in the shower at the time. So yeah, I had to just kind of rush in here, guys. So I'm sorry the tunic is missing tonight. But anyway, welcome in, welcome in. Let's get our drinking horn filled. And we're just waiting on a few more people, and then we'll get the show started, all right? There we go. Ha-ha. Ah, there's my Jen. Hey, baby. How you doing, my love? All right. What's up, Nightshade? How you doing, sweetie? You know, it's always great to see good friends pop up. First to like, that's awesome. You know, and thank you, Jen, for showing up. And thank you, everybody, for coming in. Scald, you know, getting ready to. You know, first to like always gets a scald. Scald. All right, that one's for you, Nightshade. All right, my Jen. I looking forward to your new video to see what you had for dinner. You know, it's definitely going to be interesting. Tonight, we're having homemade spaghetti, but we're using fresh wild hog, ground wild hog for the meat. No problem, Nightshade. It's up. Yeah, I just haven't got a chance to go watch it because I wanted to talk to you for a little bit first. Like I said, guys, I'm sorry I don't have my tunic on like I normally do tonight, guys. I rushed to do the video. I just got finished doing everything I had to do 15 minutes ago. You know, so I kind of had to rush into this. But anyhow, guys, luckily I've been thinking about the topic all night. So let's go on ahead and explain what our topic is. Tonight's topic for final thoughts is simply knowing that what to say, when to say it, and trying not to bite the hand that feeds you. You know, guys, you know, that's something that everybody needs to learn. I'm still learning. I'm actually really bad at this social skills stuff. I'm just glad that you guys enjoy my attitude, you know. But anyhow, so as we go along, you know, guys, sometimes we can accidentally offend those that are closest to us, like I've said before, you know, and when we do that, we actually end up, you know, burning bridges by accident. We accidentally end up breaking up friendships or losing trust, you know, and that's biting the hand that feeds you sometimes. Also, you know, guys, if you've got supporters and you've got big time supporters, you need to really, really treat them with respect. You need to treat everybody with respect. But if you've got somebody that's literally bent over backwards for you, you really, really need to respect those guys. You know, you need to try to find a way to return the favor. You know, and if you do mess up, you know, because we're all human, we make mistakes. But if you do mess up, guys, realize you can fix it. You know, all you got to do is work at it. And, you know, sometimes you have those people that are just mean, you know, but we'll get to that here in a little bit. You know, first off, let's go with the accidental portion of it. Guys, you know, sometimes when we do things and we make choices, we don't always reflect on what it can cause, the effects that can follow afterwards. You know, sometimes we get too excited, or sometimes we think it'll be okay and we just do it. You know, and guys, that can lead to issues. You know, sometimes that can lead to offense. You know, and when you do that, there's only one thing left to do, which is apologize and, you know, literally ask for forgiveness, guys, because it's up to the other person whether or not they forgive you. And then you've got to forgive yourself and learn the lesson and move on, guys, because you can't let it eat you up inside, guys. I know a little bit about letting your personal demons get a hold of you a little too hard, and it's not always fun, and it's not always easy to deal with. But it's something we have to learn. It's something we have to understand as we grow older and as we see the world for how it is. And as we start to understand that it can be cruel, but at the same time, it can be kind. And sometimes the kindest person can do the greatest offense by accident. I've seen a Christian woman one time, she tried to help out a Muslim lady. Well, her husband took offense to that and chewed this poor little Christian lady out. She was bawling and squalling and trying to apologize. That's just one example. The other example is something I myself did, which will keep the details to myself. But I accidentally offended some people, and I had to apologize for it, and, guys, that's life. You live, you learn, you get messy, you make mistakes, you try things, it happens. But all we can do, honestly, the best way to make up for this is to own up to what you did. Understand that you had a part in accidentally offending them, whether you meant to or not, and you've got to understand that your part was probably the biggest part. And whether you meant it or not, it happened. So what do? Like I said, you apologize profusely. Hopefully, they'll understand. If they don't, move on. If they do, great. Your friendship might be different, which I understand. I hope you do too, guys, because sometimes trust is hard to build back. What could be earned in minutes can be shattered in seconds and take years to build back, guys, and a lot of hard work on your end. You have to prove that you did not mean what you meant. You did not do that on purpose. You have to prove that, guys, and it's a hard thing to do. You got to figure it out for yourself. And hopefully they understand. The other thing that I was going to get at is people who do it on purpose. Okay, these people are toxic. All right, guys. I ran into quite a few of these type of people, to be honest. And, every time I do run into them, I literally want to slap them. Guys, I'm not a very violent person, but these kinds of people are just mean, people who take advantage of others, that's just wrong, because I've seen one thing before that just really irked on my nerves, which was my sister. I love her to death, but she made a mistake and she did it on purpose. And she bit the hand that fed her, which was my grandmother. And she's going to get in a lot of trouble for it, unfortunately. But we're going to leave it at that. That's family business. But anyhow, so, that's biting the hand that feeds you, guys. You don't take from them. You don't steal. You don't lie to them. You keep your word. You do what you're supposed to do. And if you can't do it, you keep in contact with them and you let them understand what is going on and why it is being so difficult on you. Guys, it is always best to step back sometimes, take a couple days, think it over, let them chill, and then come back, guys. And if you've got somebody that's purposely biting the hand that feeds you, you know, and or if you're having it done to you, which is pretty much being used, you know, guys, that's never cool. You know, if that kind of person is in your life, get rid of them. You know, I don't mean to sound harsh on that, guys, but if you have a toxic person like that, they need to go. I mean, they need to go. You know, and it's not cool, but it has to happen sometimes. You know, if you have somebody in your life, however, that, you know, is a great person, you know, or is just maybe a little different or something like that, and they accidentally offend, you know, different culture or something like that, you know, try to be a little lenient, try to be a little understanding, you know, but at the same time, you have to understand what you did. That's always the principle of the matter. It's always on you to understand and you to be the bigger person, you know, because not a lot of people are going to. And it's not necessarily being the bigger person. It's showing good respect. It's showing honor to that person. You know, don't just walk all over people. Do what you say you're going to do. Act appropriately, you know, guys. And sometimes those actions that we do, those simple little decisions that we make, those simple little itty bitty things to us can be big things to others and can accidentally seriously offend. So you really got to think your actions through, guys. You know, everything you do has a cause and effect. And, you know, people talk about the butterfly effect. That's true. One little word can cause a ripple. I mean, look at what happened to that, what's her name, girl that played Snow White. You know, she just said a few little words, but those few little words ruined her career, guys. You know, look at Roseanne. She said one little sentence. Didn't think for a split second. Didn't mean no harm, but didn't think for a split second. And offended a whole lot of people. So I'm glad I only offended a few. But, you know, luckily things have been patched up, you know. So this is great. This scald goes out to them. You know, I hope that, you know, this video dedication to you, my friend, who suggested these titles, you know, I hope you understand that, you know, it was not intentional. It was never intentional. So this scalds to you. Scald. Now, as we're going along, you know, like I mentioned, toxic people gots to go. But people who just made a mistake, forgiveness. And now we can get on to watching your wording. Because guys, oh boy, that's a big one. That's a problem for me. Okay, now listen on. Listen. I'm very blunt normally, okay? On here, you know, I let my nice guy come out, you know, and it's not that I'm any different on camera than I am off camera. I'm still goofy and silly and everything like that. But I have a serious side to me that comes out a lot, you know, like when I busted butt all day today cleaning yard, you know, and then I went inside and I cooked, you know, I helped roast the meat while my friend did the spaghetti sauce, you know, and then we went on ahead and I did dishes, I did laundry, I slept, I did my normal chores, guys. My job as basically a swamp rat butler. You know, I love that title. They still call me Alfred Swamp Thing. You know? Yeah, you know, and guys, it's see you later, man. But shave your beard. Nope, sorry, Grind. Beard's going nowhere. It's religious, Bubba. It's a religious thing. So the beard has to stay. Anyway, so as we're going along, you know, I'm sorry, but I've been wanting to get this out. But, you know, sometimes a person's personality also clashes, which can lead to offense too. which culture, all that kind of stuff. These all play factors. You really got to look at these things. But now we're going to get on to watching your words. All right, guys. So here we go. Oh boy. I have an issue with watching my words sometimes because we have ways of speaking down here that are totally different. We're backwater. And a lot of us have never left our hometown, especially my family. My mom did the most amount of traveling next to me, and all she did was go on a cruise, guys. That was it. She went to Jamaica and came home. She's never been anywhere else, guys. And she still lives in her hometown. Well, she also moved to another town about 2 hours away for a while and then moved back home, guys. But she always pays attention to everything she says. Every word that comes out of her mouth. She watches out for her. Guys, and paying attention to what you say can be the difference between getting you in trouble or getting you out of trouble. It can also be the difference between never getting you in trouble in the first place. Guys, you just gotta watch what you say. The same thing we were taught in school. First off, if you ain't got nothing to say, don't say it at all. If you ain't got nothing nice, keep it to yourself. If you disagree with somebody's opinion, say you disagree, explain why, and leave it at that. But don't go overboard with it. Don't, sit there and shove your opinion down somebody else's throat. You got to pay attention to what you say. Guys, that's why if I see somebody in here that I obviously know is Muslim, I will look at them and simply be like, hey guys, let's take and say assalamu alaikum. There's nothing wrong with it. They like it, in fact. You show respect. Guys. So watching what you say, understanding someone's culture, understanding someone's belief, understanding someone's background. All these take place in understanding how to talk around them. You have to be able to watch what you say and pay attention to your words because your words have impact. No matter who you are, your words have impact to someone somewhere. And guys, if you don't pay attention to what you say, you can lose that person. Not only can you lose that person, you can lose everything you got. Cancel culture is still a thing as far as I know. And I hope that I never get on the receiving end of it, guys. But cancel culture still happens. People still mess up. Like I mentioned, that young Rachel Ziegler, yeah, she didn't pay attention to what she was saying, guys, and she brought politics into a show that didn't need politics, and she just acted a fool. And because of that, Disney paid a lot of money for a big flop, and there's nothing worse than not even breaking even, guys. They lost money, big time on that flick because of that young lady's attitude, and there's nothing worse than a bad attitude ruining a good show, and that's when you got to pay attention. The other example I gave was Roseanne. She turned around and made a rude comment a few years ago whenever her show was about to come back out. And that little rude comment ended up costing her not only her show, but her career for the rest of her life. There's very few places that will even show Roseanne. All they'll show is the Connors, because of what she did. Hey, my Jen, how you doing, baby? But guys, we're almost 20 minutes in, so we got about another 10 minutes on this subject. I had an incident where I stubbed my toe and said, and my Christian friend stopped talking to me. You see, that can accidentally happen. What's up, Pat? But anyway, so yeah, guys, when you don't pay attention to your words, you can end up doing some serious damage. You know, not only that, but I'm I almost messed up one time. I was able to fix it, and I almost mentioned that Santa Claus wasn't real, not being real around my niece when she was really little. Not the one that lives here, but my biological niece that's about to be moving to Wyoming. But she ended up taking and was like, "Did you say Santa Claus ain't real?" And I was like, "Oh my God, no, 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 sweetie. He's not real for adults. All right." And she looked at me and said, "How?" I said, "Because once we grow older, we lose the belief." You know, and so I had to start crawfishing backwards and figure out a way to be able to explain to her that adults can't see Santa and he doesn't exist for kids or for adults, that he only exists for kids, you know, and it was so hard to get out of that, but I ended up pulling it off. So it wasn't until a few years later she looked at me and goes, "I caught Mama putting presents under the tree. You lied to me." And I was like, "Yeah, I did." But anyhow, guys, you know, it was a funny experience, you know, but you have to watch your words. You just do, guys. You know, you got to pay attention to everything, every little detail. You know, and it's really hard to do that when you're trying to speak from the heart, you know, because sometimes you stumble around your words and you might choose the wrong wording, or you might choose the wrong sentence, or you might think it's an innocent comment to you, but it's a serious offense to them, you know, guys. And that's something you got to remember. That's something you got to pay attention to, you know, and it's something I'll always try to remember from now on. Definitely. But I do struggle with it, guys. And the reason being is because of, you know, my conditions. I tend to stumble around my words. I tend to say things I don't mean. And then I don't realize I said them, you know, because there is more than one person in this head, guys. Y'all are just lucky that I'm able to really control it, you know. And hello, Kelly. But anyway, we're about 22 minutes in. So, you know what? We've done a lot of this, a lot of talk on this subject. I think we talked it to death. So, you know what? Let's start the hangout. It's called Yeah. All right, guys. So, how's everybody's evening been? Hope it's been good, and I hope the lesson gave you a little bit of wisdom. Oh, it's doing great, Kelly. You know, how you doing there, Nightshade? Is my Jin still in here? I see we had some trolls while I was talking. Yay, Jin. Oh, yeah. It's always good to hear our friends are doing well. You know, I still got water in my mustache. I wish my nose would stop. I tried the nasal spray, and I guess it's old because it didn't work. But anyway, so as it goes along, how's everybody doing? Come on, tell me, guys. Give me something to go on here. Thank you, Kelly. It was a gift from a Cherokee. You know, we went on a hunt, and I made a really good shot, so he gave me the hat. Hi, Nightshade. I told my friend about you freaking out over my Aussie accent impersonation, and he laughed his butt off. But it's great to see everybody here. You know, like I said, feel free to jump on into the chat. We love meeting new people. Oh, nice. I hope it goes well. You got good results, I hope. You know, because you seem pretty good and healthy, sweetheart. You know, I got to go and do a EKG on my heart, especially after my little heart attack incident. Oh, next Tuesday. Nice. But anyhow, what's my Jin doing? Thank you for all the likes, guys. We got 7 likes. We got 4 new people in here. At least it says 4. I don't think you can really trust these numbers up here, guys. They're kind of off. Thank you, Kelly. Oh, thank you, my Jen. Guys, feel free to jump on into the chat. Ask any questions you wish. Guys, I'm just sitting here with the drinking horn and having a good little hangout session. Let's make it a good vibe and end the night on good times. We had a serious conversation. Now let's lighten the mood. All right, everybody? Let's act like it's a feast going on here, guys. I'm from Southeast Texas, man. Nice little old teeny tiny town nestled in a nice little old bottom area. West Virginia. I always wanted to go there. That sounds like a fun place. I always wanted to go explore a coal mine. Thought it would be fun. Splunking has always been something on my bucket list. But, traveling through a mine would be really cool. Examining all of it and seeing how how it looks and everything like that, being there actually in person. I think it would be pretty neat. If I could visit Australia, which state would I visit? That's a hard one because I'd want to see the whole freaking thing. Like, I'd want to go on an actual walkabout, and just be like, you know what, guys, I'm taking like a year. I'm going to visit everywhere. I'm going to do everything. I'll see you in a little while. So that would be a hard one to answer. But if I did do that, I would make sure that me and Jen were actually together in person and we would both be coming out there. You've traveled to Australia? That'd be cool. But yeah, Jen, that would be neat. Let's take a trip to Australia and just see all of Australia. The only problem is shipping this big beast out there. That would be some cash now. Because there's one thing I've always wanted to do out there, guys. And that's I've always wanted to go hog hunting out in Australia. All I need is a shotgun and 1 round. And I'm going to have some fun. I'm gonna get me a piggy wiggy. Guys, that would be so much fun. Go hunting in the bush with some actual Aborigines. That would be a blast. Yeah, that would be cool. Me and Jen come pay you a visit. That would be awesome. We could all have a barbecue. I can cook some Texas style. You can cook some Australian style. That would be awesome. Make a whole vacation out of it. What do you think, Jen? But we got to visit the Australia Zoo. We've got to, and I've got to see Steve's grave. I spoke with the man before his death, and I'll never forget that. So I've got to go see his grave, guys. And another thing is, I'm probably going to regret it. But I want to pet a crocodile and a kangaroo. I'm going to regret it. I've got to hold a Nile crocodile, but I want to hold a salty. That would be so much fun. I know you're not allowed to hunt roos. I'd never hunt a roo. I like kangaroos too much. They're one of them animals that I'm just like, okay, that's too pretty. That's just too cool. I just want to pet one. I just want to walk up and pet one and be like, hello, Kangaroo Jack. I just want to have a little bit of fun with the guy. Feed him something, watch him hop around a little bit, have some fun. But hunting hogs, oh yeah, that's my jam. I'll go for some feral hog. That's what I hunt down here in Texas, is feral hog. And I feel good every time I shoot one, and I don't want this to be taken offense of. And the reason why I feel good is because they destroy so much, and they've actually killed people. We've actually had a lady get mauled to death out here in Texas, just trying to get out of her into her car. She didn't see it on the other side. When she opened the door, it just attacked her, and it killed her, guys. So, and that was in suburbia. So these guys are dangerous. So yeah, I take wild hogs out, and I feel good about it because they're a menace. Guys, we never had hogs here in Texas except for the javelina in West Texas. They're little bitty guys, but feisty, but little bitty guys. We don't have stuff like the pineywood rooter we do now, which has become its own species. And guys, it's bad. Like when me and my dad go walking through the woods, sometimes we stumble around because they have torn the ground all to pieces. I'll show you guys whenever we go out looking for trails. That's videos I'm going to be making. That's also probably a live I'm going to do at one point too. I'm just going to carry the phone with me. Y'all won't be able to see my face, but y'all be able to see where I'm traveling. Oh yeah, we'll do a scald to the Australia Zoo for sure. Scald to you, Steve, and the Australia Zoo, and all the wonderful work that you and your family have done. Y'all are true heroes. From your father, Bob, all the way down to baby Bob, who's not so much of a baby anymore. Have you seen that kid? He looks just like Steve. He is split down the middle between Steve and Terry, and they are just like their dad, him and Bendy, both. You've got to pet a roo and hold a croc. That's cool. Honey, would you want to hold a crocodile? Or would you want to pet a kangaroo? They call them boomers, don't they? But yeah, guys, pop on in, say hi. I always love to meet new people, guys, and feel free to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. I make 3 videos a day. Sometimes I make some shorts and some lives. I haven't done it lately because I've been really busy, dude. Spring is a problem for me because I got so much work to do. I got to do my entire acre of yard with a weed eater. Sucks. Yeah, I know I can't hold a Joey. No croc, hold a kangaroo. Nice. Good to see you, Sean. How you doing, man? Oh, my nose. This thing is driving me nuts. But I've never had allergies before, but I think I now understand what people mean by allergies. So I might have to get me some Claritin or something, man. This is driving me nuts. And I'm already crazy. The last thing I need to be is more of a Mad Hatter. Oh, man. The fact that I'm always wearing a hat makes that even better. Oh, excuse me. I laughed so much. Oh, man. It's good to have you in here, Sean. And you actually made it with plenty of time to spare. Scald to Sean's arrival. I'm going to set this down for a minute before I have to start running to the bathroom every 15 seconds. So we're going to hold off on the scalds. By the way, guys, I kind of broke my little workout and diet routine I've been doing for a little while. My sweet tooth has been driving me nuts. I'm sorry, guys. I had to break down and buy some donuts. I'm sorry, but I've been eating on them for 2 days. Antihistamine if it's hay fever. That's what I was thinking. I'm just going to go get me some Claritin. That's what it is. Claritin 10 or Claritin D, whatever it's called. I know it's Claritin. Anyway, guys. So I want to thank all my moderators for doing their jobs, while I was in the middle of my explanation. Because, guys, if you're new here, the thing about Final Thoughts is I spent the first 30 minutes talking about 1 or 2 separate subjects, maybe 3 one day. But I spend that time talking about certain subjects and trying to spread as much wisdom as I can, and in that process, I take about 30 minutes to do so. I spend the rest of the show, to hang out with the rest of you guys, and I love meeting new people. So jump on into the chat, say hi. We love to hear from you guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon. Come join the Knights, everybody. come check us out. It was on not biting the hand that feeds you, and watching your wording, making sure you say the right words, guys, because that's a really important subject. I learned. I'm still learning, because guys, I spent my whole entire life with a bunch of hicks. All right, I mean hicks. All right. The only reason why I wound up semi-intelligent was because I had to go to counseling, and I ended up reading National Geographic from the time I was 4 because my mom thought it would be a good idea. She wanted her kid to be smart. So my mom started reading National Geographic to me, and I would look at zoo books and all these other animal things. And when I started being able to read, I would read them myself. And I loved animals growing up. I loved dinosaurs. I loved mythology, all those things growing up. And it ended up all accumulating into who I am, guys. And who I am is a big, giant nerd. All right. Yes, everyone is always learning. You can always gain more experience. You can always gain more wisdom, every day, and don't let it flow. Let it happen. Guys, don't fight it. If there's a lesson for you to learn, figure it out, guys. Don't fight it. Because when you fight it, you get miserable. You really do, guys. And you don't want to be living in misery all the time. My mustache is not working with me tonight. But everybody's always learning. My Jin's constantly learning every day. I try to teach her something new every day. And yes, he'll still be, even Stephen Hawking was learning up until his death. Even Einstein admitted that there was things he would learn every day simply by walking outside and sitting on his front porch and watching his front yard or his children play. He would make new observations every single day. And that's what my friend Flying 90 means when he says, try to do something every single day to better yourself. Sit back and reflect on your environment. Sit back and think. You'd be surprised what you might come up with. You might be way more creative than you give yourself credit for. And the more creative you are, guys, the better chance you have of making it in this world. Because it isn't so much tenacity and aggressiveness and, jumping in head first. It's more, you got to have the creativity and the smarts to go along with a plan, to be able to come up with an idea, to be able to create a organization or to be able to create a business or to be able to create a YouTube channel. You got to plan it. I fly by the seat of my pants and my stuff goes up and down. It goes up and down. It really does. But to be honest, I'm so busy, I can't really sit down and write out a script, Hey, man, welcome back. It's wonderful to have everybody here. Everybody's so intelligent. Everybody's so wonderful. Why in the night with my new friend Clint? Oh, thank you for Forsha. My brain was like, say it. My tongue was like, no. Oh man, guys, y'all always find a way to make myself laugh sometimes. All right, we got another skull coming up. Let's do this thing, as a Linguini would say. Sorry, I don't remember his voice acting. Otherwise, I'd give him credit. But Ratatouille is a great movie. If you haven't seen it yet, guys, go watch Ratatouille. It's an awesome flick. I can't wait till they make a live action. I think it's going to be so much fun. But anyway, guys, let's go. Skull. Get a nice good swig in. Wait, let me get one. Okay, let me fill it back up. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Skull. Yeah, if anybody wants to scald with me, anybody wants a shout out, jump on in here, guys. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. You know, come join the nights. Come have some fun, guys. Let's be a good little happy little group here. Let's have some positivity, no negativity. You know, we got our Trolls Bane right here. We got our drinking horn. You know, we got a nice big old jug of water, which I've almost drank. I really should pay attention to how much water I drink, guys. Like, good Lord. And that's, dang. Mighty Joe Young. 611. Why you say that, bro? Oh, man. So, yeah, is my Gin still in here? Because we're hitting 19 minutes there, guys. You know, and it's always great to be able to pull off a full hour. I know I've been doing short lives these past couple shows. Hey, my baby. You know, but I know I've been doing short lives these past couple shows. And, you know, guys, it's because I've been busy. When did that happen? Your sub 611. It's just going up, bro. You know, I just do my thing, man. Make my videos. Mods if Trolls Banes miss the trolls. If we have the mods, yeah, and we have the mods for if Trolls Bane misses the trolls. Exactly. Pardon me. Water made me burp. But you know, that's a sign the tank is full. Oh yeah, I know. It's been going great, Sean. I can't do it without you guys. You know, y'all are the reason why it works so well. You know, share the stream, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. Everybody, come join the chat. You know, come on in. Let's have some fun, everyone. You know, I don't care what country you're from. I don't care what religion you are. You know, I welcome everybody. You surpassed me so quickly. I'm 273 subs. You started after me. Congrats. Thank you, Nightshade. Yeah, we're moving right along. We actually are almost at 1,400 watch hours as well. We're at like 1,375. You know, so that's moving right along as well. I can't believe how well this is working out. All right, see you later, Sean. You know, but I can't believe how well this is working out, you know, guys. I started this channel, and God, was I awkward. Oh, good Lord. Go back and watch it. You know, y'all sit there and be like, wait, no, that was you? No. Okay, yeah. Wow. You know, it's a big change, guys. It's a big change. I got totally used to being on the camera, you know, and I really enjoy it. You know, I really, really do. And I'm glad you guys like to sit here and have a good chat with me. You know, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Nightshade. Oh, yeah, here we go. Boom. Boom. Scald for my Gin. We just posted her channel up there. Everybody go subscribe to my Gin. You know, I think she's at like 800 and something. You know, but go subscribe to her, guys. Let's get her to 1,000. Let's get her midway to moderation, guys. A scald for you, my love. 916. Yes, definitely. Everybody, go subscribe to my Gin, everyone. You know, let's make sure that if you aren't subscribed, you go on ahead and you go. And you make sure that you go on ahead and you hit that button. She makes some really wholesome content, everybody. She's an absolute sweetheart. And she's got a heart of gold. And I love her to death. Oh, 8:45 alarm, guys. So, yeah, we've hit the 45-minute mark. So we've got 15 minutes left, guys. Well, 15 and a half. 15 minutes, 20-something seconds. I'm so sorry, Gin. I didn't mean to spook you. You know, welcome to jump scares. I should have that more often for Halloween. Which, guys, I have an idea for this Halloween. And because I love Halloween. Okay. It's my favorite time of year. So I have a plan. All right. And if it works out right, you guys get some ghost stories personally written by me. So we're going to do some horror stories for Halloween. And I think I'm going to start a midnight show for Halloween every year. I'll still have my standard shows, but there's going to be a midnight ghost story. So I hope you guys can tune in. Oh, nice, Nightshade. When here next time when I come live and you're on, pop in your channel name and we'll drop it down there. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Oi, oi, oi. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Oi, oi, oi. Always definitely for sure there, mate. Oh, man. Honey, I think that drives her absolutely, makes her giggle so much. I think that's hilarious. I love it. I love it. It makes her giggle so much. Oh, God, guys. Oh, I'm going to cry. Oh, man. A scald to good friends and good times. I knew it made her laugh every time. Makes my Jin smile and blush. Guys, I've actually been practicing at something. So, I don't know. That's up to my Jin. That's up to her. I'm going to let her decide on that one. But anyway, I've been practicing at something. So, guys, if we can start hitting 20 likes like we used to do, then yes, I will go on ahead and say something because I've been working on my voice, and I found out that it just got deeper. I just can't hit the notes I used to, so I can only hit the deep notes. What's up, Brian? Haven't seen you in a minute. Where you at, my Jin? Nightshade got a question for you, baby. Do you care if I do the rest of the show in the Australian accent, or do you want me not to? Because it's up to you, baby. I don't want to wear it out. Nope. Okay. I don't want to wear it out for you. All right, baby. That's why I wanted to ask, guys. It's called respect. If somebody else wants to ask you a question, you got to ask your girl, and especially if it's another female. But thank you for letting us know. But don't worry about it there, Nightshade. It's all good. She just really enjoys it herself. So anyway, guys, we're going to take and keep going. We are at 48 minutes and 53 seconds, guys. I'm going to grab Uno reverse cards. Oh, nice. Good night, guys. All right, Pat Connors. I'll see you next time, brother. Yeah, night, Pat. I used to actually have another friend that we called Pat when I grew up. And the funny thing was, I never knew his last name until we went to graduate from high school. Because I didn't have any classes with him. Well, they called his name Patrick Kilpatrick. And I was like, wait, what? Your name is Patrick Kilpatrick. What are you, Pete and repeat? He started laughing his butt off, guys. And he goes, that's why I go by Pat. Because it just sounded much better to him. Or, we would also call him Daniel because that was his middle name. But I'll never forget that, guys. Patrick Kilpatrick. You know, there's a lot of times when guys we need to pay attention to what we name our kids. Because I've also met a Princess Barbie who hated her name. Absolutely hated her name. Because everybody had these high expectations out of her because she was Barbie. You know, not only that, but she was a motherfucking Princess Barbie. Excuse my language. You know, but anyhow, guys, you know, it's been a wonderful show. I've had so much fun with y'all popping in here. You know, I hope that y'all have enjoyed the show as much as I've enjoyed doing it. You know, it's always awesome to see our fans and see our friends. You know, guys, there's nothing better than making good friends all around the world of all different races, of all different people, because then you learn all different cultures from a personal perspective. It is so awesome and so incredible. And it builds your wisdom and it builds your knowledge and it builds your worldly intelligence and it actually makes you smart. You know, guys, and hey, you might just surprise your teacher. You know, guys, you might just surprise your friend. You might just surprise your family. You know, and by teacher, I mean college professor, hopefully. You know, guys. But I've seen many of people, I've met many of people here on YouTube. And one of my favorites is meeting people from Africa. They're so happy all the time. You know, there's so much fun. And then meeting people from India that can speak English. You know, there's so much fun. You know, unfortunately, I don't watch the ones that can't speak it because I can't understand them either. So I simply give them a good namaste and move on. You know, I always try to give as many thumbs up as I can. You know, guys, it's very rarely I don't give a show that I find a thumbs up. So do me a favor, guys. Stop on in, give me a thumbs up, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon. You know, give me a hand on this algorithm thing, guys. You know, and I really enjoy speaking with y'all. Oh, y'all don't have colleges there in Australia? I didn't know that one. That's new and on me. So, do you just have trade schools? Or do you do apprenticeship programs? Because that would be cool. You know, there's a movie that I used to watch a long time ago, guys, that maybe you know of, Nightshade. Maybe you know the real story behind it. It's called The Man from Snowy River. And it's supposed to be set in Australia. And that was an incredible movie. I loved it. Such a great film. University and Taffy. Oh, that's interesting. We where I grew up at, it's different everywhere you go here in Texas. Chicken jockey. I forgot about the chicken jockey thing. Yeah, I when Brian says that, I always picture some little teeny tiny gnome on top of a chicken going, "Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go." You know, chicken jockey. Oh man, but you know, he said that last time. It made me giggle, and that's because that's what it made me think of. Was literally just some itty bitty little teeny tiny guy riding a giant chicken, just going, "Let's go." You know, smacking it, trying to do a derby, riding a chicken, or see how long you can hold on to that chicken. It's from the movie. Oh yeah, I remember. Taft performance pronounced with a solid A. Oh, TAFE. Okay, TAFE. Gotcha. But that's interesting. You know, down here we have college. We do have universities, but we definitely have college. You know, and I tried business school, and I could succeed at statistics when it got so high in the math, and I failed that one. So then I failed, you know, business statistics. So basically, the math whooped my butt, and I just failed out. You know, I was like, well, poop. I tried, but now I owe money. Such is life. But we've hit 5 minutes to go, guys. And, oh, dang. You just showed up with 5 minutes left. TAFE is if you want to do a trade like carpet laying or fabricating. That's probably what I would have went for growing up because I love welding. I can actually weld steel or aluminum, and I can MIG weld and I can stick weld. My stick weld's not that great. My MIG welding, I'm pretty good at, especially with aluminum. I love using it. Makes a great lightweight guard. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know you could weld steel and aluminum. That's awesome. You are Steve. All right, Brian. I am Steve. All right. We're getting close to the end of the show, guys. And I just want to go on my normal little spiel. I love you guys. Thank y'all so much for showing up. Y'all are such incredible friends. I couldn't ask for better people. For my long-standing fans, welcome back to the show. Y'all are so incredible. I'm glad to be back myself. And let's hope we can get past this little hiccup we've had recently. Let's get the watch hours up, guys. And I'm going to be trying my best to get a few more good shorts out for you guys and a good video for y'all tomorrow. I'm going to do a little bit of clearing, and we're going to take it. We're going to burn that wood, and we're going to see. Not burn all of it. Some of it's going to be used for walking sticks for merchandise, guys. I got to let it dry out, and I got the perfect spot. So I'll hope to see you guys on those shows for sure. All I'm waiting on there was to literally get the materials and to go buy a grinder, which my dad said I could use his grinder as long as I use my Tiger discs. So it's going to be awesome. Guys, this is going to go so much further than expected eventually, but for right now, we just got to wait on what this lawyer's going to say, because I hope they're going to take our case, because really all I need is just to have representation. Nothing a huge zip tie and two bungees can't hold up till it's welded. Oh, you grew up like a boy. I get that. I need my exhaust welded. It's popped up. Popped off yesterday. Oh, okay. I like that. Nightshade. That's awesome. Those are good skills to have, especially as a woman. They won't have them down here in Texas, but very few. You'll find them very rare. You'll find them very rare in America anyway, because a lot of these girls are getting entitled, and it's just getting a little out of hand. But that's a topic for another video. And I think, what? I think that should be tomorrow night's video. Entitlement. And why it's a bad thing. To a degree. So that might be tomorrow night's subject. So I like that idea. Tomorrow night's subject will do entitlement and why it can be a bad thing. So we'll definitely see y'all later on. Yeah, definitely gold diggers. But we'll see you guys later on. We've got a minute left to go, guys, before we hit an hour. So y'all know how it usually is. My Jen, I love you, baby. I'm going to call you here in just a moment. I hope you're ready. Nightshade, it was awesome talking with you, sweetheart. Sean, it was great having you here. Everybody else, it was awesome having you here. We got 12 likes in the building. We had 6 people. Let's see how many people we ended up getting as subscribers to the show tonight. And hopefully we got some good watch hours. But anyway, guys, last thing I can tell you guys is remember this. See you from a swamp. Later from a gator. Love your mama. Love your papa. Love yourself. Be kind. Always find a way to help. And I'll give you guys one last scald to end the night. Scald to you, my friends, for making my channel such a great place. scald. Good night, my friends. That was for you guys.